Greetings from the House of Ra. Today's sharing will be from a small pamphlet, Forever, The Right Attitude for Spiritual Practice by Bhagwan, Afrika. In the previous video, we explored Chapter 1 of the book, Who Am I? And was offered a most profound consideration. This short clip will offer an opportunity to gain the highest insights into that, as well as any other consideration one might undertake for the sake of knowing thyself. In the pamphlet, Bhagwan states, we can begin today's discourse with some insights into the most crucial ingredient that must be the underlying mechanism for your abhyasa, your sadhana, your spiritual practice. Some of you who have, for whatever reason, found it unnecessary to be involved in the kula process will no doubt struggle to follow my arguments, since you have deprived yourself of the opportunity to practice deep thinking. These groups have been looking at the causes of their breakdowns and impediments in their spiritual practice, reaching out to one another for the additional help that they may need to see something about themselves that they cannot see alone or on their own. That's one of the functions of a sangha. And in the traditional spirituality, it has always been understood that nobody makes progress outside of a sangha. The kula process is a distillation of the process that casually goes on in the sangha as a whole, but it is made more intense. Thus, it produces more benefit for you. It throws you into direct confrontation with your own ego, principally in the form of defending your opinions and elevating them to the level of truth. To merely avoid the kula process under the ruse that you are avoiding conflict is just BS. It is just more ego. For those brave souls who have stayed the course, this bud is for you. I want you to consider the kind of attitude towards abhyasa, spiritual practice, that is necessary for spiritual practice to bear fruit. I have been around long enough to see that many people waste so many years doing spiritual practice in some sense and undergo absolutely no transformation. Please remember that spiritual development is not the same as becoming familiar with the teachings. It is not a form of erudition, scholarship. Spiritual development comes from spiritual experience. And until you have been able to transform your grasp of the teachings into your personal experience, then you are not a spiritual person, technically. You are a religious person, perhaps a decent person, perhaps, but you are not a spiritual person. The inquiry was into how to go beyond the limitations of the religious disposition and truly become a spiritual person, how to engage in sadhana and be transformed by that sadhana. In Chapter 1 of Patanjali Maharshi's compilation, the Samadhipada, Sutra number 11 or 12, in Chapter 1 of the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali reveals the secret of success in spiritual practice. The abhyasa, the spiritual practice, must be ceaseless, continuous, uninterrupted, without interval. In other words, beloveds, Patanjali Maharshi was saying that your practice must be done from a state of mind and mindset that is forever. The attitude one must have towards one meditation, one's abhyasa, is this is something I will do forever. This is the attitude that gives you the intensity, the focus, the determination, and the intention that is necessary to really benefit from your spiritual practice. Ponder this. It is the commitment to some aspect of spiritual practice, some aspect of abhyasa being done forever, under all conditions, no matter what the body is doing, no matter where I am. I don't care what is going on. I do by abhyasa. That is my priority. What is required of you is you must sit quietly somewhere and consider this, and then make up your mind and heart if you are going to practice with an attitude of forever. Because until and unless you decide to practice with that attitude, you are just going to be like millions of other people who have come to the path. You will do a little practice here and there over the course of your lifetime and then die completely untransformed. All of the struggle you are having with your practice is simply because you do not have the right attitude towards practice itself and nothing else. The purification of the mind and all of these wrong notions, wrong understandings, and that is very important. The meditation will help you do that. At another level, it will also help you start burning up all these worldly desires that you have in your mind for this and for that. When you begin to understand the condition that you are in as a result of your identification with the body-mind, you will become hell-bent on doing your practice. Forever means forever. Practice is forever. You must practice with that state of mind. I'm going to do this forever and wherever. You must understand this and get serious about it. Meditation must become as precious as your breath, because you understand that without it, you will not realize your condition and thus find the happiness you are seeking. Never. Hear me clearly. It takes what it takes, not what you are willing to give it. That's the price. To take full advantage of your precious human birth means that your practice must be ceaseless, continuous, without interval, and it must be forever. You must really consider this. I'm hoping some of you will reconsider your own absence from the Kula process and recognize that the way you are going is not going to work. You must get yourself some help. Come out of your vanity and get down to business. Enough for today. Rashekam Ma'at.